So we continue our coverage of the AFC third round World Cup qualifiers with Group B. Remember to go check out the first video on Group A, the analysis and the predictions I gave. So now it's all about Group B, which is aka South Korea better get used to falafel, baklava, shawarma, mansaf, all of these wonderful foods from the Middle East, because they'll be making a lot of trips to the Middle East during this group. And the biggest theme I have for this group is mansaf. If you know, you know. So let's break down each and every team. Let me know your predictions in the comments down below for Group B. Remember to hit the like button. Can we get to 200 likes on this video? Subscribe to the channel if you're new around here. And remember to follow me on all the socials. I'll be covering the World Cup qualifiers on Twitter and Instagram. So remember to follow me on all the socials. Links to those, description down below. But enough of the jarring stuff. As we did with Group A, we're going to break down each and every team before the predictions. So the first team is Kuwait. Now I'm going to be very honest. This team are very fortunate to be in this round of the World Cup qualifiers because their group in the previous round was so weak. You had India, you had Afghanistan fielding a B/C team at times. Yes, there was Qatar, and Qatar destroyed that group. So for Kuwait, it's going to be very difficult. But they did hire a very experienced manager in Pitsi, who has worked previously with Bahrain and Saudi Arabia. So he's familiar with the region and he's familiar with AFC football, which could benefit Kuwait a little bit. But I really struggle to see how they're going to be competitive in this group. It's going to take a minor miracle. Plus, the goal scoring was an issue in the previous round. And if you're struggling to score goals against India and Afghanistan, wait till you go up against these teams in this group. Oman also have a very good manager in Selhavi, previously working with the Czech Republic national team. Very good tactical manager, knows when to have a low block, knows when to have the high press. So I think it's a good appointment by Oman, and he's been their manager now for 4 games, so he's trying to get used to the players. As expected, Oman will be a very difficult team to play against. In the Asian Cup, they weren't such a high-flying, attractive team to watch, but they were a gritty team. And I think that recipe will continue in these World Cup qualifiers. They have a variety of goal scorers, including Omar Al-Maki, who needs to step up for Oman. They only conceded 2 goals in the previous round of World Cup qualifiers. So you see how Oman are going to approach this round of qualifiers. So keep an eye on Oman. They could be a stubborn team, just like North Korea in Group A. Next team is Palestine. We know what's going on in the country, and obviously prayers to everyone in the country after historical performance in the Asian Cup. I mean, what they did was sensational. The game they had against Iran, the game against the UAE, I thought Palestine were a joy to watch throughout the Asian Cup. The national team is consistently getting better and better. They're getting more dual nationals, which is only going to benefit the national team. And you have players like Yasir Ahmed making big moves, plus dual nationals like Mustafa Zaidin. But the heartbeat of this team is no doubt Dabbagh, the striker. Without him, Palestine don't have a chance. His goal scoring, his off the ball movement, assists, everything. Dabbagh is the glue for this side. And you can't forget also Musab Al-Battat, the right back who, this guy, his right foot is magical. His crossing is elite. I love it. He's an electrifying right back down the right side. So Palestine have a young mix of experienced players mixed in with some inexperienced guys who only have a couple of caps. I think Palestine have a very bright future, but this is a very tough group. You're going up against Jordan, Iraq, and South Korea. Palestine will be very motivated, but it will be a tall order considering that they can play no home games at home. And then we have Jordan, the Asian Cup finalist, but some changes have occurred this summer. Al-Muta, who did an incredible job, stepped down the role to take the job at Al Jazeera. So now it will be Jamal Selami, who's another Moroccan manager. Can he continue the growth of this national team? The strides that Jordan, last year in 2023, everybody's like, okay, cool, Jordan will be round of 16, maybe quarterfinal team in the Asian Cup. All of a sudden, the expectations have risen, and now they could be making their first ever World Cup, which would be something incredible. Every department of this team is strong. You look at the defense with Al-Airab and Nasib. Those two are brick walls in defense. To the attacking trio of Oluwan, Al-Naimat, and Al-Tamari. If you didn't watch these 3 players at the Asian Cup, I feel bad for you. It was just prime Jogo Bonito. Some of the plays from Al-Tamari to Al-Naimat to Oluwan getting the goals, it was sensational to watch. Can they continue that in this round? And of course, the biggest theme will be, can they make their debut at the World Cup? It's going to be tough considering the beef they got with Iraq from the Asian Cup, which was a fantastic game, one of the best games I've ever seen in my lifetime. That sort of motivation, that sort of passionate games are going to be very evident in this group. Iraq, is this their time, people? It's been since 1986 that Iraq have played at the World Cup. Are they finally going to make history for their nation? Jesus Casas was linked to the South Korean job, but he said, F that. Why would I want to join the KFA, who are disgraced themselves? I'll stay with this team, this young and exciting Iraqi team. If you're Jesus Casas, you did the right thing. build upon this project. You have a great thing going on. All the Iraqis are backing you. You got players backing themselves and making the move to Europe. I think this is great for Jesus Casas. They stormed through their opponents in the last round. They went 6 for 6. They destroyed Vietnam, Indonesia, Philippines. It wasn't even a contest. Of course, was the Asian Cup round of 16 exit a disappointment? Perhaps, but the game was just insanity in itself. And if Ayman Hussein can continue producing like he's Erling Haaland of Iraq, then they're going to have a great chance. Mixed in with the young star like Ali Jazim, who just made the move to Como in Serie A. I know he's having some visa problems and that sort of issue, but Ali Jazim is one of the best young players in Asia. Prove me otherwise in the comments down below. The guy is, I love him. Iraq are a young side, but they play with maturity. Yeah, maybe the only time where you could say, oh, Michael, they didn't play with maturity was the game against Jordan. But, I mean, the referee was a little bit weird in that game. So, this is going to be a long process in this qualifiers. I think Iraq, they can smell it. They can smell that qualification, and it would be awesome to see them play a World Cup in the United States of all countries. And the final team to break down is South Korea. And South Korea have had one of the craziest summers you will ever imagine. They are getting rejected more than a guy on Tinder with the amount of managers that said, nope, not for me. South Korea finally hired Hong Moon-bo, who was the manager back at the 2014 World Cup and was previously manager of Ulsan. He sort of rectified his managerial career, but that 2014 World Cup was a disaster for the South Koreans. Either this hiring will end well, or it's going to be a complete disaster, and we know the KFA are a disgrace themselves, so they're really in hot water for what they have done with this hiring process to now get to this manager. Hopefully it works out for them, because if it doesn't, oh my god, Koreans are going to raise hell. If we forget the complete and utter disgrace of a hiring process, this team on paper has to qualify. If they don't qualify, this would be one of the greatest disgraces I have ever seen, and it would be a catastrophe. It would be. You know, you look at players like Lee Kang-in, who's going to take that next step with PSG, and I think he's an absolute baller. And we're probably going to see Young Min-hook, who just made the move to Tottenham Hotspur, only 18 years old, another electrifying forward for South Korea. They got everything. They got the defense, the midfield, the attack. But this hiring process, I wonder if it's going to install trust in the players, or if the players are not really going to trust. It can go two ways, and I want to know your thoughts if you're South Korean. Are you happy with this manager being hired, or is the KFA just a disgrace? But no doubt, the team have quality. They're going to have a lot of traveling during this qualifier. So could that be a hindrance to this team? I don't really see it. I think South Korea, they have the experienced players in these qualifiers. They should be fine. Let's get to my predictions for Group B. In last place, it is Kuwait. Sorry to anybody watching from Kuwait. I think you guys are going to finish last. In fifth place, I got Oman. I think they're going to be a very stubborn team. You're going to probably see a lot of draws with them, but they're not going to score enough. Fourth place, I got Palestine. I think they can build upon this. I could see them getting maybe 4 wins in this group, and that should be enough to get fourth place. But the top 3, now it gets interesting. So one thing to note with this group, when it comes to the final 3 match days, is South Korea will be hosting Jordan. Iraq will be playing against Palestine. The second last match day, Iraq will be playing South Korea. Jordan will travel away to Oman. And the last match day is Jordan versus Iraq in Amman, Jordan. I might need to get a ticket for that. So any Jordanians watching, please, if I can get a ticket for that game, I will be going to Jordan, because that game could decide which one of those 2 teams qualify to the World Cup. And in third place, I got Jordan. I just wonder if the managerial change is going to hamper this side. They got all the momentum. They got the confidence. They just beat Saudi Arabia away. Amulto was a great manager for them. Let's see how this new guy is going to do. Can he install still the confidence within this team? They got all the tools to qualify for the World Cup. I just don't think it's going to be enough. And in second place, I got Iraq. I think they're going to qualify to the World Cup, and that would be something sensational to watch. And I will definitely go watch an Iraqi game at the World Cup in 2026. And in first place, it is South Korea. If they don't finish first place, I mean, that would be something sensational, and the KFA might need to sack this manager again and go again with their stupid hiring process. But people, let me know your predictions in the comments down below. Which 2 teams do you think will directly qualify to the World Cup? It's going to be exciting. We're going to be obviously covering the World Cup qualifiers here on the channel, not just from Asia, from South America to Africa to Central America. Remember to hit the subscribe button and hit the like button as well while you're at it. We got one final group, which is Group C, so stay tuned for that on the channel. But have a beautiful day. Stay safe in this crazy world. Enjoy the Mon stuff, because that's going to be a big talking point during this group. Adios.